Right, so today what we're having a look at is we're diving into the world of digital solutions. Now, I've always been an amp man. I know there's a lot of victory here, but I have used other amps. I've had Orange, I've had Fenders. Victories are just the middle of the road amp that I've found myself using because I really got on with them. I think they're great amps, and of course I've got my Marshall for when I'm allowed to put it a bit louder. But anyway, I have always been an amp man, and I think I always will be. I think that the digital world will really have to um, pull itself up to fully pull me into that world. However, I can't help but have a little foray into the digital world and can't help but be a little bit curious. So today I thought I would document my first experience in dropping into the modeler world. And I use the term modeler very loosely. So I picked up, and I'm always going to make this one of these videos, I picked up the cheapest modeler that I could find on the internet. And here it is. So this is the Cube Baby. I think the brand is something like M-vave or M-vave or something, but we'll have a look in a minute. But this is the Cube Baby. And this is a completely digital amp, supposedly modeler. So what we're going to do is we will get to unboxing and we'll listen to how it sounds. As I said, I've tried to keep it within the vein of what this channel is and how I'm kind of doing my videos at the moment. So the cheapest modeler that I could find on the market, as of the 23rd of April 2025, this cost me £23.54. This one did require £2 in postage fees, so £25 for this modeler unit. And it arrived really promptly, and I'm really interested to see what it's actually got in it. And what we'll do is when we're unboxing, we'll have a look at everything that it says. So yeah, it's cost me £23, £25 with postage. So I thought, well, bring you guys along for the ride and let's see how this sounds. So without further ado, what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the unboxing and see what we get in this nice little Cube Baby box. But bear with me and I'll get you to the desk with this slightly out of focus camera. Okay, we're back at the desk. We've got a little more light here. I just thought I'd try and add some so that everyone can see what's going on. But of course it means that you see all of the blemishes and everything in the desk. A little bit like me, it's why I keep the lights low. But let's get into the unboxing of the Cube Baby. So, nice, actually quite impressive box. So on the back here, we'll just start here. You've got what looks to be a diagram of what you actually get within this unit. So it looks like there's a tuner, then your amp, then your, I guess, modulation, delay, reverb, and then this can actually have third-party impulse responses, supposedly, loaded into this this unit. I think it's 3. Potentially 3 IR slots. Then you've got Bluetooth, USB, headphones, phone, headphones, USB, and then the out. So this is going to be interesting. Could be some interesting features here. There's nothing on the either side. And then this one here, apparently you've got 9 preamp selection slots, high quality phaser, chorus, delay, and reverbs, 8 electric guitar cab IR slots. We've got 3 working modes, preset, live, and edit, with 3 editable presets. And then USB audio, wireless audio input, a mobile phone recording jack, and then a built-in rechargeable battery. So, you know what? For 23 quid, if half of these work, I'll be happy. So, quite a nice box. Let's just flip this little catch here and open up. Okay, so there's the unit. So, first thing you've got here is a headphone jack to USB cable. Then USB to USB-C. I think I've got those right. And then in a little baggie, you've got the pedal with your 3 buttons, and then your user manual. Now, I don't normally use or read the manuals, but that would seem sensible. So the first thing I'm seeing here is it's equipped with a built-in battery for power supply which can last for 6 hours after a full charge, and it can charge with a V5 power bank, which I'm guessing is this cable here. Oh no, V5 adapter, 5-volt adapter, or the power bank. And then when the battery runs low, you can use this adapter to charge the battery, and it will take 2 hours to charge. So if we just get... So here's the unit itself. You know what? Build quality wise, seems pretty good. So you've got M-vave. I'll do that again with it facing. So M-vave, M-vave, M-vave. Then you've got your input jack here, your power switch, your USB, your phone connection slot. So that's to support mobile phone recording. Earphone output, so you could just plug this into your headphones, and then your 1/4 inch output. So this is how you charge it. Then the Q-Baby can be sound card or computer, and you can edit 3 groups of presets on your computer, and you can import the IR on your computer. I mean, do you want to be plugging this thing into your computer to let it go? Who knows, but we will probably find out. And then on the back here, you just kind of got that basic overview again, showing you what it is. Removal of screws or the serial number label will void warranty. And so there are your screws. So there it is. And then yes, there's the on switch. And so just so you can see this, nice light show. So it appears to be looking to attach to Bluetooth. So anyways, there's the pedal. This is everything you get in it. Okay, this actually looks quite in depth. I'm really impressed. I'm very impressed at what we've got here. So let's just run from right to left. So this is your type, is your preamp selection slots. Gain is your gain knob. Tone is your tone brightness knob. Modulation pulls in how much of the how much of the modulation you have. Although it is saying here it's only chorus or phaser. I mean, would that be right in the corner of the box? Okay, so I'll bring this up to the camera. Sorry, not the screen there. So you've got this thing going from right to left. So it's chorus all the way up to the middle. Then once you get to the middle and go round, you start going into the phaser. So it's a dual thing here. At time, so that's your time on your delay, feedback on your delay. Mix, so the mix knob adjusts the ratio, but they've said radio in the user manual, of wet and dry of the delay. And then the reverb just adjusts the ratio of wet and dry from the reverb. And then you've got your IR cab selection here. So you've got 8 here. So as I said, you can, it looks like you can bring third parties in. But you can go in and edit the presets inside. So there is a software. So what I might try and do and see if I can get the software up and record that as well for you. So there might be a short pause between these 2 clips to see what I can actually look at this thing. But let's quickly go through the types of and then the volume is at the end here. So we got to the IR cab one here, didn't we? God, this is really complicated. So your cabs. Let's start with your cab. So slot 1 is based on the IR cab. Oh, based on the IR has just been turned off, so none, apparently. 2 is based. It's a 1x12 based on the line 6 Veta. Number 3 goes straight up to a 4x12, and that's based on a Marshall 1960 AV. Number 4 is also a 4x12 based on a Marshall 1960 T75 LA610. Number 5 is based on the VHT Deliverance. Number 6 is based on a Soldano 2x12. Number 7 is back to the 4x12s, and that's based on the 5150 plus Mesa Oversized. Don't know. Number 8 is based on a 4x12 and is based on the KS6 KT77 plus a Mesa Stiletto AKG C1000. So that's getting... and then number 9 is a 4x12 again, and it's based on a diesel V30 with an SM57 and a Soldano HR power amp. If you import any IRs, it will overwrite the previous IR on that switch. Apparently when you're in tuner mode, which if you hold these two... have I turned it off again? I have turned it off. So if you hold these two, that should be us in tuner mode. And apparently, from modulation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's your E string, B string, G string, D string, A string, E string. And then this will indicate which way you are. So, okay, interesting. Yeah, supports Bluetooth. So you hold the A and B button to turn on or turn off. So you can see that's just stopped flashing. And apparently you can play music to it when it's connected. And then, yeah, you can use this, which I believe is your recording cable, to go from this to your phone via the headphone jack. I don't know. That's mental. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get onto the editor. And in the meantime, I'll get this plugged in and come back to you. We might just have this video going through the presets, and then have a deep dive so that we keep this one short, because this could be a really long video, and I haven't looked at the... We'll see. We'll see. But I will be back in a minute. Okay, so we are back, and we're ready to go through this cute baby. So the eagle-eyed of you will have seen that I appear to be wearing a different jumper. That's because it's actually been a few days since I initially did this first unboxing video. The reason for that is twofold. The first one is actually when I started looking at the Cube Baby and what it could do and the bits of software that came with it, it became very apparent that actually this is quite a powerful unit for the price you're paying, and actually quite in depth. So I started thinking, well, what am I going to show you? What am I going to do? Whilst I was pondering all of this, the second camera that's on the pedal itself ran out of battery. I was fed up by this point. I had stuff to do, jobs and stuff. So that got left on the back burner. So it's a couple of days later. I've had time to reflect, and this pedal actually is quite in depth, and it's a very simple but complicated unit. And what I mean by that is you can spend the time really dialing in your tones to get them as close to how you want them to sound, or exactly as you want them to sound, in a very simple, straightforward manner. But it does take 15-20 minutes per preset if you really want to dial that in. So that's why you know, I've taken a little while to just plan this video. I think what we're going to do is we're going to spend the time looking at what we've got on the face of it. So we're not going to deep dive, we're not going to go into building presets, and we're not going to look into the IR involvement or like the editing of the IR. We're going to look very much at the 3 modes that you have, and then the 3 presets that I have made. Making a preset we'll cover in a different video because it does take, I don't know, 5-10 minutes just to get in and out of it. And going through all the options and stuff. So we'll look at the 3 presets that I've made and the 3 separate modes that this unit comes with. So, without further ado, let's get into this because we want to keep this video to a sensible length. So, just to very quickly talk about the other gear we've got. I've got my Gibson Les Paul DC special for the 1960. It's like NOS or VOS or something. Custom shop guitar, P90s, and then we're going to, from the practical patch cables straight into a Focusrite. So the Cube Baby is currently in bypass mode. So I've just turned it on. So there you've got the nice little whatever that is, little light show. If we get rid of that, we're in bypass everything. So the guitar sounds like this going straight in. It's very much a DI'd guitar sound at the moment, isn't it? You're just going from here, basically bypassing that, although this volume will still affect the sound, straight into Logic. So there's nothing special there. So we're just going to very quickly talk about the 3 modes that we've got. The first one to touch on, you do have a tuner. So we're now in tuning mode. And you'll see that as I go up the strings, each of these is picking up a different string. Now all of those are showing as out of tune, as you can see here. Now this is one, I'm not going to say drawback, but most of my guitars are in E flat. This appears to only pick up at standard. Might just close the blind, because I don't know how that's looking on camera, whether you can pick out the lights. Hopefully you can still see me, but that just looks a little clearer in terms of the lights here. So that's your tuner mode. To get in there, you just hold down these 2. So the first mode that we'll look at is just live mode, which again, rather than hold, you just press, and that's put you into live mode. And that's where you can add or take away any of the 3 blocks. So you've got your preamp block here, which is your type of preamp, your gain level, and your tone. Then your modulation, and then your reverb and IR unit. So in live mode, you can have any combination of those on or off at any time. If you're running straight into a cab, if you're running into a head and a cab, and this is just what you're using for your preamp, you can have just the IR off. So there's no cab simulation going on there. So you'd just be going straight through, and all you'd have to worry about is your reverb, your modulation, and then your preamp side. So now obviously we are going direct in, so I would always be running this with a cab. Now you should be able to hear it's very subtle, but having that cab there does add something. Obviously the reverb does as well. So there's that. So there's live mode, and this live mode is just where you adjust on the fly, and these are your 3. So you basically set yourself up really with a clean sound, and then it's whether you want to turn on the dirt box or not, and then whether you want the modulation side on as well. So let's say realistically you're running this straight in, you're going to have probably this one on at all times. If you want reverb on or off, unfortunately you're going to have to bend down and just have a quick fiddle. I like having reverb on, so we're going to leave that there. Now we want some gain, so we're in live mode. We can adjust this as we go. So let's click that on. Right, so our preamp's on now. I will put down on the screen which preamps and which IR I've got at this time. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's sounding pretty good. Might just bring a little bit, drop the gain down a little bit. And then let's get some modulation in there. So if you have the modulation at the top, that's modulation off. So there's no phaser or chorus, and it's one or the other. We don't have any tremolo or anything like that. It's phaser or chorus, but in the middle, that's off. Let's get one of them on. Again, if you want this on, you are going to have to bend down and actually do the necessary adjustments. It's probably worth saying that this is not there's nothing here and it just builds. There appear to be several different types of modulation on the scope, or different types of chorus. So here's one type. But then if you go a little further, different again. It doesn't seem to be a cascade like adding in. It seems to just be there's 4 or 5 different types. And you can see that more so in the software part is you're not adding your ratios, you're just clicking, I think it's like 1:7 and then 8:15 is that, and I know those numbers don't add up quite evenly, but it's like, yeah, 1:7 and then, I don't know, 9:15 or something, and 8 is off. But let's keep the modulation off for the moment, and we're just going to add a little bit of reverb in. So here's your mix. So not reverb, sorry, delay. So here's your mix, then here's your feedback, and here's your time. So that's live mode, and you can just add or take away as you see fit. But that's very much a set and forget. So that is, I need 3 sounds. I need my dirt, I need my clean, my dirt, and I need a lead sound. You know, that's... And my lead sound is just adding some delay. You know, it's... But again, you can have any combination of those depending on what you're... So that's live. So if you come out of live, you can then go into preset mode. You hit these 2. You don't hold them, you hit them. So these are the 3 presets I've got. We'll quickly talk about edit, because I think edit is interlinked with preset mode. So if you hold those down on the left, you get to preset mode. And if you tap those two, you get preset mode. If you hold this one down, now we're in edit mode. So I'm still trying to figure this out. But yes, it is very much a press at the same time. You don't hold. So yeah, so once you're in edit mode, you can edit your presets. But let's just stick to preset mode at the moment. So you press them, you don't hold them. If you hold them, you start activating the Bluetooth, which is what was going on here. That was what was confusing me. So we're in preset mode. So I've got my crunch here. I've got my clean with a little bit of modulation here. I've got my lead one over here. And that's very much, if I was in a gig situation, this is how I would run it. So that I've got my 3 sounds at any one time. Now, why is my clean in the center? I would be using this not as a kill switch, but you finish your song, hit the clean. You just avoid the chance of any feedback, or if there's any noise floor or anything, or any buzzing, come into the middle, you're going to get rid of that. So here's the clean tone that I've built, again, with a little bit of modulation. So that's the clean tone I built. This is what I've created as sort of like my rhythm, you know. Again, it does have the ability to be dirty, but you roll that down and you've got a... I think it's worth noting, whilst you're in preset mode, these changes they don't actually make any difference. So that's partially why, if I was running this unit live, I'd be running in preset mode, because in transit and bits and pieces, you know, I agree, these are slightly more difficult to move than, say, your amp, you know, your amp knobs. But there's nothing to say that you might not turn up and the gain has gone from here to max and you haven't realised. You turn it on and then there's just horrendous noise, or you wonder why you sound like a bunch of, you know, bees or hornets, wasp nests. So that's that sound, and then this is kind of like the high gain lead sound. Probably here there's a little bit of a buzz there, but and again, you do have the ability to roll that back, as you've just heard. So it's not just a one and done. So that's the Cube Baby in a real nutshell. I know normally there's a little cutaway here and then I come back and, you see some playing. I don't think we need to in this one because this has been very much a hands-on as we go kind of thing. And I could sit here and play, but I don't think you really want to sit with me in live mode and twiggle. I think, twiddle. I think I will do that in a separate video, really deep diving this with the cab. So that might be more like a half an hour one that if you are really interested in this, you can come back and have a look at the deep dive on that. Also looking at the Bluetooth functionality, which is basically just if I connect my phone up to this, I can play music out of this straight out of the output or whatever. But that's quite cool as well. So summing up what I think of this incredible little thing, actually, I think it's very versatile, especially for the money that you're paying. I think as a gigging musician that needs a reliable, small, portable, but quite expansive backup, I think it's fantastic. It does seem to bring the noise floor up, and there are some artifacts in your higher gain tones. Now, I may be able to play and pull those out and really dissect the tones to make sure there's no digital clipping. It may be that there's a lack of headroom in this unit. So you may be able to sit and play with it and get rid of those real inconsistencies or detrimental side to the tone in it. I'm not going to do that today. I'm already looking at this. I'm seeing we're pushing 18 minutes purely on the playing side here. So you're probably looking at not far off a half an hour video anyway. So I do apologise. This has gone on longer than I thought so. But this very quickly became a pedal that you couldn't just kind of go, oh, it does that. There you go. This is done like a distortion or an overdrive. There's quite a lot to this. So I hope if you have enjoyed this, or if you have watched this, you have enjoyed it. I apologise. It's quite a long one. But you can see why I'm trying to keep this short. So I am going to shut up now. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know what you thought of the unit in the comments below. Maybe even like the video or even hit the subscribe button. That would be amazing. Thank you. I really do appreciate everybody who hits that little red button. It's really nice just to see people getting involved in the gear journey with me. It's really nice. It's really fun. But yeah, thank you very much. Look after yourselves, and until the next one, take care.